As you can see, this is an old MacBook Pro. If you look at the specs here, this is a 2012 13-inch MacBook Pro with a Core i5 running at 2.5 gigahertz, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and I did upgrade the SSD, so that is one upgrade I did. But other than that, this is a stock machine from 2012. But as you can also see from the screen, we are running macOS Sequoia, the latest version of macOS. And this laptop's also running Windows 11, the latest version as well. I wanted to make this video to quickly kind of give my thoughts of, is this computer still capable of basic tasks? Obviously, you can just look at the specs, and we're not going to be doing any gaming or any video editing. Well, I mean, you could, I guess, but light video editing will probably be possible, but you're not going to be doing anything crazy on here. And if you know anything about computers, you can look at these specs and know that. But I want to see, is this a still usable computer for a kid or a college student or, you know, someone's grandma or you know, just to watch YouTube and text people and just do normal things that don't require much computing power. Is this machine still viable in 2025? That is the question. And what OS should you use, Mac OS or Windows 11? I did not try Linux on this machine, and I know that's going to be the top comment. Why didn't you try Linux? Why didn't you try Linux? I just don't care about Linux, and yeah, these are the two OSs that I'm interested in. So, obviously, if you know anything about these old MacBooks, you're probably already know how this latest operating system is running. If you don't know anything about MacBooks, this MacBook Pro goes up to, I believe, High Sierra. I could be wrong on that. Maybe Monterey. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Basically, you're going to install this app called OpenCore Patcher. It's the OpenCore Legacy Patcher, really, is what it's called. I don't know why I explained it like this. You're not really just installing an app. You're creating an installer on a different machine, then installing it on this machine, which installs the app, which adds all the drivers and everything. So ignore what I said here, but if you want to learn more about the OpenCore Legacy Patcher, there's a lot of great videos online, so definitely check them out. And basically, that tricks your installation to basically think that this is a modern machine, or it removes the checks to think this is a modern machine. I don't know how it works, okay? I don't need to know how it works. All I know is it basically lets you install the newest version of macOS on outdated hardware like this, which is awesome. I love it. It keeps these machines alive and well. So I want to just kind of run through some basic tests here. Let's see if it's usable for anything at all. One thing that I'm not going to demonstrate here is iMessage and FaceTime. They both work perfectly as you would expect. So that is something, if you need a Mac for that, it will work. Now we're going to get into YouTube playback and see how that is, because that's something, obviously you're on YouTube, you're watching this, that's something that you care about. So let's see if that's any good at all. I have one of my previous videos loaded up here about the RCA Studio 2. And as you can see, we are in 1080p, and we're going to try to display it. We are in Safari right now. We'll try Chrome as well if this doesn't work. So we're in Safari. Let's try this out. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, guys, I'm back again with another video. Today I wanted to talk about the RCA Studio 2. This is a console I just picked up on eBay. I feel like I got a pretty good deal on it, and I just want to make a video talking about it because I've had fun messing with it the last few days. Here it is. So as you can see, it's running pretty smoothly. I'll mute the sound here. There's really no skipping in the audio. Occasionally, you will see frame dips in the video itself, especially when you first load up the video and first go into full screen. That's kind of what I've noticed with macOS, is everything's a little slow when you first start doing it. It needs to like sit almost for a minute and kind of process what's going on. And then once it does, it runs a lot better. And 1080p YouTube videos are watchable on this machine. 720p would probably be even better experience. At that point, you'd get 0 frame drops at all. But 1080p is definitely doable, and it looks really nice on this display. Like, it doesn't do justice on the video because you can see like a reflection and everything, but this screen is really nice, and it still holds up well today, even though it's such an ancient display. As well as the keyboard, I didn't mention that. The keyboard also is pretty nice in this machine, which is one reason you may want to use it. But yeah, YouTube, even on Safari, which is going to run worse than Chrome, it's running it's running well, or at least I would think it would run worse than Chrome. Let's try out Chrome. Here we are on Google Chrome. Since I haven't signed in on here, I feel this will be a better place to show you. So let's just say we wanted to go on YouTube. We're going to type it in here. So YouTube, just so you guys can get kind of a glimpse of the web browsing experience. YouTube, so you can see it loads up very quickly. We'll just go to the next page here just to kind of see. Yeah, you can see web pages are they're very snappy. I gotta say, it's running really well. So let's click on YouTube. Right here is probably going to be a little bit of a longer load than you'd expect. It wasn't terrible when I tried it before, so I guess this is what YouTube is if you're not signed in. So let's look up my channel. Games. Electronics are us. There we go. You can see it loads in. Here's my channel. You can see this is snappy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. It definitely runs better. I wish I could show you guys the Safari. I just don't want to show my whole freaking YouTube account on here. And I don't feel like signing out. But it's way more responsive on Chrome. So if you're going to use this on macOS, I would recommend definitely downloading Chrome. It just runs better. So yeah, here we are. Turn the sound on. This is a console I just picked up. Definitely in low quality here. 720, so we'll go up to 1080, 60. Yeah, no stuttering at all. So Chrome's even a better option for YouTube. I mean, this is perfect. It's playing well. I mean, you could skip forward, see, just jump to a random part in the video, see how that does. Yeah, wow. So YouTube, I would say, especially with Chrome, it's very, very, very responsive. So if you're just buying this to watch YouTube, you're set. You can install macOS and you're good to go. Other things I would expect a machine like this to do is to browse eBay. So let's try that. As you can see, it loads right up. Again, we're just going to be testing basic tasks today. This is just for the normal consumer. What would normal people be doing? They would be going on eBay and they would look up Nintendo and they would browse the various listings. Let's see what's newly listed on here. See if we can find any deals while we're here. Multitasking, right? Newly listed. And we do have 2 tabs open. I'm going to leave YouTube open. And you can see very, very responsive. Like, it does take a little bit for the images to load. So let's just click on a random listing here. Here's a Wii U. It's actually not a bad deal. Okay. And then we can easily go through the pictures. Yeah, they're loading quick. This is what makes me laugh, is why people buy new computers to just do web browsing. You know, I ask them, well, why are you buying a new computer? Oh, my old one's slow. It's like, well, you probably, they probably just don't have an SSD in their computer. So, and by the way, this experience would be really bad if I didn't do that. So you basically have to upgrade these to an SSD. But yeah, you can look and zoom in and everything's good. So eBay is definitely a pass. So I was just trying a few more Apple features that people might want to use. AirDrop works perfectly. It's a little slow for bigger files. Like if you're trying to send a video, it seemed definitely slower than normal to me. With photos, it worked really well. The screen mirroring right here, where you can have your iPhone screen and a little tab here, that does not work at all. I didn't try maps yet, so we could try that. A lot of times these older Macs will have issues with the maps. I'm just pointing it down just in case it shows my location, which it probably will, but I asked it showing a bunch of previous addresses I had, and I'll just tell you if it works. You just gotta take my word for it. Yes, allow my location. This is probably really fun to watch, isn't it? Yeah, so the maps seem to work fine. Let's try the weather app. That's another common one that causes issues. Weather. See if I can get it to show like somewhere where I'm not at. It's taking a little long to open, but it's also my first time opening it. Yeah, see, it shows where I'm at. So I can't show you guys, but it's loading. And yeah, it works. Here, I could set it here and then, yeah, so you shouldn't be able to see. I'm just gonna block where I'm at. So you can see here, I'm not in Santa Clara, but yeah, the little sunshine effect in the upper left corner is working. A lot of times in open core that'll be glitched or whatever, just for like GPU issues. So in closing, what do I think about the 2012 MacBook Pro running macOS Sequoia? I think that it's 100% usable still to this day if you have your expectations in check. You're not going to be editing 4K videos on here and playing the latest games or playing really any games. You just have to kind of know what you're going into and use common sense. But if you're interested in just doing the basics, you know, doing emails, calling people, texting people, you know, writing notes and using AirDrop, which is an amazing feature. I love AirDrop. It's like really the main reason to own a Mac in my opinion. And you just need a Mac for Mac OS things. This can do a lot of them. Just don't get too excited about it, I guess is what I'll say. But what I also wanted to show was the boot up time. So we're going to shut down and we're going to show you a complete boot up. The machine's shutting down right now. This computer actually does have screen damage, and you can never see it if there's stuff on the screen, but if it's just a black screen, you can see it. So you guys will also get to see that as well. There I am. I'm going to let it fully shut down. You can see the lights off here, little status light, which I don't believe is on newer MacBooks. So let's turn this on now. This I would really not consider part of the boot up time. You can see my 2 installations here. So this is my Mac OS. So we're going to choose that. So this is basically the boot up time now. 3, 2, 1, go. You can see the Apple. You can also see the screen damage there. See that little pink marks above the Apple? Whatever. I got this machine for free, by the way. I forgot to mention that. And it's been fun messing with it and just seeing what it can do. And I've actually been using it, actually, the last few days. The battery still holds a decent charge. Obviously, your mileage will greatly vary on that. Your battery could be totally shot, or mine lasts hours watching YouTube videos and just doing basic things, which is all I was really using this for. And that's really all this is good for nowadays. The boot up time is long, as you can see here. Even with an SSD, it's still going to take a while to start up. And for Windows, we may as well show the boot up process right away, because there's no point in, I guess, not showing it first, because I'm going to have to boot it up anyway. But Windows does boot up significantly quicker. As you can see, you type your password in. It takes a while to get to the actual desktop as well. You'll see you should do like no wallpaper for a minute here, and then it takes a minute. But once it's started up, it runs good. And I guess that would be my review of macOS. Once you let it do its thing and load, and, you know, once you're in, it is good. It works well for basic tasks. It is a computer at the end of the day. It's still a computer. And not a very powerful computer, but it is still a computer. See, still no background. For some reason, the Wi-Fi symbol is glitched. Like, it'll show that you have no Wi-Fi when you do. It's just a little bug, I guess. I don't really care, though. It does not affect the functionality of it. Still waiting for the background, and there we go. So now at this point, it should be fairly responsive. Let's see if we can click on the Apple here. See a little laggy there, but you can see it's gonna, but at this point, it's pretty much warmed up. So now we are going to try Windows 11 Pro, I believe, because why not? And this I just installed, Windows 11, I just literally made a Windows 11 copy using Rufus. So basically it removes like the TPM checks and the CPU checks and basically all the checks that Windows 11 does to your computer. And it installed perfectly fine on this MacBook Pro. I made it a partition and it worked. So Windows 11, here we go. Oh yeah, this is probably going to show my first and last name on the screen. So, but you can see it's loading in here. Loads up quicker than Mac OS, but still could be faster. I'm just going to point it down at the keyboard so you guys don't see that. I know I just have this PC. Okay, we're good. So we're loading in. And one thing about Windows is that it's much more responsive in use. Like, you don't have to wait for it to warm up as much. Like, we're just going to go straight into the tests here. And I'm actually not going to use Chrome because I'm signed in. So we're going to use Microsoft Edge. But as you can see, we're at the desktop now. And we'll go to Task Manager just so you can see the that we have the same specs here. Do I not have the right click enabled? I think it's just being slow. Right click's really not wanting to work. It was working earlier. There we go. I don't know if that was a hardware issue or what. So you can see CPU, same CPU. And here's our RAM, 4 gigabytes. So here's the thing about Windows 11 and macOS. The idle is using a good chunk of the RAM. As you can see in Windows 11 here, we're doing nothing. I mean, we did just start up, but we're not doing anything. And most of our RAM is already used. 3 out of the 3.9 gigabytes are being used, and we have our SSD here as well. So yeah, that's kind of crazy. Let me try to right click again. Yeah, so it is working. I think it was just slow to start. But again, once it's going, like, it's going to work every time, and it's quick and it's responsive. So what I would recommend if you're daily driving this computer, definitely put it in sleep mode. Don't shut it down every time, and that should help a lot. So we're going to log into Edge here. I don't think I'm logged in to Edge because who uses Edge? But it should be similar speeds to Chrome. Actually, what I decided to do just to get a better test for you guys, because I'm sure most of you want to use Chrome, I just signed out of YouTube. So we'll just try it on here. And we're just going to do the same test that we did on the MacBook. So we're going to click here. You can see fresh account here, or guest account or whatever. Games, electronics, RS. Still takes a bit of time to load, but not horrible. Got to add this time. You can see that loaded up quick. We got into full screen even faster than macOS.
Today I wanted to talk about the RCA Studio 2.
Make sure we're playing 1080p 60. Yes, we are.
I got a pretty good deal on it, and I just want to make a video talking about it because I've had fun messing with it the last few days. Here it is. Pretty good shape.
Yet again, this looks pretty damn smooth to me.
After everything, which is a pretty good deal. These are going up in price a little bit.
Yeah, that looks good.
It's not like a
Let's try to jump to a random part.
But luckily we have games.
I mean, you can see it.
It's very easy to control your missile, and
it's moving around good. So for YouTube, again, perfectly still a usable machine. And the sad thing is, this is a machine that, as I got it, just people are just throwing these out just like they're nothing, and they don't go for much either. You could buy one of these on eBay for like $60, and for that price, it's a pretty, it's a well-built computer. But anyway, let's try eBay. I'll sign out on there as well. We got eBay loaded up. Nintendo again. Again, loads pretty damn quickly. You could scroll very quickly. I need to adjust the sensitivity a little bit here. Click on a listing. Like, is it as fast as a new machine? No. But is it unusable? No, definitely not. So let's see, a little bit of stuttering here. But as you can see, it smooths out pretty good. Like, this is definitely, like, you can look at this and really zoom in and go between pictures. I tried, let me just close out of this. So basically, I've tried all of, like, the Windows 11 features in terms of, like, hardware. Like, the camera works, the microphone works, the SD card, all this stuff here, everything works. I had installed the official Apple drivers when I got it installed. I did not use Boot Camp, so I literally just made a partition, installed Windows 11 on my own, and then there was a reason I didn't use Boot Camp. I forget what the reason was, because I did this a while ago, but it worked out well the way I did it. I just had to go and install the drivers, and once I did that, literally all the hardware was working. The display looks, again, it looks really nice, and everything works in Windows on this computer. So what do I think about this? I think if you can find one in good shape like this, with a charger and the battery is decent, for like $60, I think it's really fantastic. And the good thing about these, you may say, okay, why don't you just get a cheap Windows laptop? You're going to get something more powerful. And that is true. You will do better with a Windows laptop. But if you come across one of these, or if you have one of these laying in your closet and you're not using it, you know, you could give it to someone and they could definitely, or you could use it yourself or whatever. I mean, look at this thing. It doesn't look, if you walked into a coffee shop with this and you weren't an Apple, like no one would look at you weird unless they were like an Apple enthusiast. No one would know this machine's like, whatever, 12 years old or however old it is. And yeah, it's definitely not unusable right now. 5 years from now, it's going to be hard to say. As the OS has just become more and more demanding, you probably would want to definitely put 8 gigabytes of RAM in here. 4 is just, on both OSs, it's really not enough. But for basic tasks, it is enough right now as of 2025 when I'm filming this in August. So yeah, I mean, that's basically all I have to say. This is not a scientific video. This is not supposed to be, you know, some fancy video. This is just the average person who got this old MacBook for free, installed these operating systems, and this is my experience with it. And my experience is that it's pretty good if you understand what you're getting into. Don't have too high of expectations. This machine will do many things, but not everything. So yeah, that's basically the video. If you found one of these for cheap, pick them up. What I was going to say earlier is that the parts are readily available too. So if you find one broken for like super dirt cheap, you could fix this thing for not much money at all. And the RAM is cheap and the SSDs are cheap and everything's cheap. These chargers, I think this is MagSafe. This is the original MagSafe. These are getting cheap and it's a nice connector. It goes in like that and it charges. I like it. I'm a fan. I think it's built well and I think the display holds up well. And yeah, I would recommend this computer to anyone who just needs a computer for basic tasks. And the plus of it being a MacBook is that you can install Windows and Mac OS on it like I did, so you could switch between the operating systems depending on what you're doing. Like if you want to do a light video editing and you want your photos to seamlessly transfer from your iPhone, you could use the Mac OS side. And if you want to web browse a little more smoothly, you could use the Windows side or whatever. Or if your program only supports Windows, if your program you want to use only supports Mac OS, you can easily switch between and it works good. So that's the video. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any video suggestions, let me know. I might end up doing something you guys want me to do. So yeah, bye guys.